Saints are up. It's cool having
The game.
the game on too.
Yeah. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're live.
Hey, what it do? What it do? What it do? It is your boy B. Damone and Coach Gomez in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is episode 128 of Along the Wire. Once again, it is Sunday, 4 o'clock. So, we are live at Level Up Productions, and it's going down. How's it going today, Joe?
Going good. Going good.
All right.
It's a football Sunday, man.
Yes, the first week of the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Second week of college, third week of high school football down here in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas. And as we know, we've had some health scares, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but I want to take this time right now to take a moment of silence for Reagan assistant coach Kevin Hernandez, who passed away this Friday from COVID complications. So for these next few seconds, let's pay our respects. All right. Yeah. So I work every day and hear about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I care and I want people to move accordingly, it's not putting my opinion on how they should be. I just want everybody to take care of each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the players and the coaches, and Reagan especially, because Reagan was one of the first schools that I covered. Connor Fox and Coach Hamilton was so welcoming. So, I mean, I may have seen Coach Hernandez in passing because he was there during the time that I've been there and covering recruiting here in San Antonio. But that you never want to hear about anybody passing, and especially given this pandemic that we're in right now. So I want to say Along the Wire supporting Reagan and Coach Hernandez's family. You're in our thoughts and prayers. And the theme that we've had here has been, and you've said it multiple times, is it takes a village.
Yeah.
And when something happens, you want to take time to acknowledge somebody who is in that community as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to do to kick off the show. I don't mean to start off somberly, but you definitely want to pay your respect.
Yes, sir.
So to everybody at Reagan and Northeast ISD, hey, you're in our thoughts and prayers. So to kick stuff off, all right, like you said, it's Sunday, first NFL weekend. We had some great football played this past weekend, and I dropped the top 25 this morning. So we got a slew of things to talk about. And, like I've said, it's going to be kind of a relaxed episode. So we don't have a guest, but we're going to talk about some stuff going on in the city, just games and players.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what are some I want to say observations right now I was talking with some players before the show, and they said, "What about Jay, McCollum, Somerset, and Holmes?" I'm like, "Hey, those are all schools that Holmes is coaching. They played Taft to the last second."
Yeah, they could have won that. I mean, that kid doesn't drop that extra point in the end zone, and it's a different ball game. Holmes walks out with the victory. They
Exactly.
played to the very end. Morales has done a great job out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't define the whole season, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
One loss. So, that's just an eye opener. Hey, we got to tighten up. We already showed that we can play with these boys, and we got to continue to trust the process and trust our coaches.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're at Holmes, when my alma mater is West Campus, but when I was there, we had players like Cedric Griffin, Robert Quiroga, and they ended up going to college and being in the NFL. So the perception was different. So now the fact that Holmes played and almost beat a squad that was in the third round of the playoffs last year, given the fact they're coming off of winning one game last year, and this is one of those growing moments that you have, that when they say there's no moral victories, you can have pride in the fact that you played one of the city's best squads to the very end.
Yeah, but it also, too, you got to take into factor is how long has he been there? He's only been there, what, 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like college coaches, college recruiting. He's only been there 4 years. He's only those are his seniors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he has some time to develop them, work with them, his style of ball,
Yes.
implement his strength and conditioning program. Whatever his staff brings to the table. So that's a huge difference when you got a group of seniors that, when you got there, now they're showcasing what you've been trying to show all the other kids all along. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then he asked about John Jay, and just my answer I had to cut off because I wanted to talk about it here on the show, is when you know what you can do, when you know what you can do and you can do it well, and the other teams know what you're doing. If you got your running back Huerta, who is going to get the ball, and he's still able to get 250 yards, and the team they're going against, O'Connor,
Yeah.
they know that. And you talk about two different ends of the pendulum. You got one on an upswing, but you got another team seemingly on a downswing, but it's a going through process.
Yeah, but Gutierrez is not just any other running back. You know what I mean? That kid, he's putting some real serious work, strong lower body. You know what I mean? The dude's a dog. You know what I mean? And he'll grind it out. So it's no surprise seeing Jay where they're at right now. You know what I mean?
It's I guess ultimately it's great to see what people would say is non-traditional schools be up there
for sure
and get that W and look good doing it. Look good doing it. Who else did you say? Somerset beat McCollum. McCollum was 2-0, and now Somerset's 3-0.
Somerset's on the roll as well. They got some fresh blood there, some young blood as far as coaching. Coy brings a lot to the table, and I mean, them dudes are going to be airing it out, man, airing it out. So I don't see them slowing down. They're just gaining momentum.
Right.
I don't see them slowing down anytime soon.
And that's why, I mean, you see them where they're at, where I put them in the ranking, and we'll get to the rankings pretty shortly here. So I was at the Marshall Stevens game. You are at the Central Alamo Heights game.
Yeah.
I'll take a minute to talk about Marshall and Stevens. Talk about playing to the end. Again, that just seems to be a theme for this week. When you have running backs and toughness, and we said this all last year about Marshall, them fighting and continuing to fight. I liked how Stevens responded, coming off of their game last week.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see them in there and them putting up and having the fight, ultimately losing the game late. And like you just next week they got Harlan. I can consider that a good game, just given what they have to go through to get better. But I want to say shout out to Marshall. Y'all had a great game plan. You stuck to it. Coach Ortega over there. I was happy to run into him. He was one of my coaches, and now he's over there at Marshall. So it was good to see him and his guys get that 23-20 victory. But one thing that I always want to stress is when you have an opportunity, and I'm talking to Stevens. When you have an opportunity, you have to take advantage of it, because things that always seemingly need to work or work and they don't start working, you've got to have a backup plan. And they're a heavy pass team, and they actually developed more of a run game than they showed the week before.
Yeah.
So I like that, and it showed way more control. But when you have to go back to what your bread and butter is, and it's not there, there's got to be extreme focus amongst everybody when it's your turn to step up.
So, what was the difference in the game plan? You think just watching the game, because you were at the Wagner game against Stevens, and then the way Stevens came out this week.
Concentration. I think that the fact that that Marshall did run, but it's not the same. It's not the same type of run as a Wagner type full plowing. And I think that when you implement the run game, that was a big difference, giving your defense a chance to rest.
Yeah.
And having a fresher defense there, that's how you get that type of competition.
Gotcha. So was it more like against Wagner? Was it more pound up the middle where Stevens wasn't able to stop him, or was it more like sweeps, or was it a combination of both?
It was a combination of both, and the fact that they have three people back there at all times that can run the ball. So if you're switching out blockers and the ball carriers, then you're gonna be fresher.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you got three different options, then that's three different people who can hit you.
Gotcha.
So I mean, but I think more so what helped the defense was a better offensive game plan going up against Marshall than it was going up against Wagner.
Yeah,
and it was good to see, because
I know there's a totally different level of athletes as well,
right,
which makes a difference. But I was just wondering, as far as scheme wise, what was the difference? Because that was a huge shock when I saw the Wagner score, and then to see him bounce back like that and battle, it was great.
But and exactly how you said it, and that's what I was saying about while Holmes. It took me back to Holmes and Taft, because when I was talking before on IG, I was saying that that Holmes was always in position, and if you had said before the game that Taft won that game by 21 points, then you might not have been surprised. But they were coached so well that it was the scheme, and I was wondering about the scheme this week as to last, and it's like, well, if you have this here, how come you just couldn't?
Yeah.
I mean, because you had this in your pocket, but like you said, I mean, it's different athletes there, but ultimately you can scheme and you can out scheme athletes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, that was great to see on Stevens' part, because now when you come up against another squad that might be more athletic all around than you are, then you have this in your back pocket that you can trust and use. And so that was awesome to see. So now you just hope that that's a mentality. Now that you have that card, I'm not comparing Marshall to Wagner, because I mean that'd be a good game too, given this and that mentality over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like to see that. So you were at the Central Alamo Heights game.
Yep, that was a good battle. Heights ended up winning it. Was it 35-20? James Scobie and Rhett Anderson got off to a fast start.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they had a great connection. Central should have made some adjustments earlier, I think, as far as that corner that was giving up those yards. But hey, I mean, those kids are learning. A lot of these kids are first time, DBs, first time safeties, because they lost a lot of guys off of the defense last year. But overall, it was a good battle. Central's offense tried to control the clock for most of the game, kind of just dumping, picking, and popping.
Right.
While, Alamo Heights was basically having big play after big play, man. To be honest with you, um, first play of the game had like a 50-yard, 57-yard catch reception.
Right.
Then they come back and they score off right off of that. Not to mention, we go back and score, and then which is Central Catholic goes back and score. Then Alamo Heights comes back with a kickoff return
Yes.
all the way to the like 10 or something like that.
Right.
And then you come back with another pass play. So right there, they hadn't even scored what 2 touchdowns within so many minutes. Like
Minutes.
yeah, Brandon,
Like
so,
maybe a minute.
yeah, maybe a minute. No, maybe like 2 minutes.
Wow.
But it was just quick. So having something like that, it's tough. You got to be able to stop them, man. You got to be able to challenge them, and you start building that momentum. They start building momentum, confidence. So now you're battling from behind. There was one call that I felt that really changed the game, which was the fumble.
Yes.
So the kid was already there was a little bump, shoulder bump,
Right.
but the kid was already inside the touchdown, man. It wasn't gonna make a difference where it
Right.
was at.
Right.
Yeah, at the same time, home field. It
Right.
is what it is.
Right. Right. Right.
There was some other calls too that were kind of questionable, but for the most part, the refs did call a good game. Um, I mean, it was a battle, bro.
Yeah.
It was a battle.
Yeah. And that was a matchup that I was looking forward to seeing, because I mean, I'm not saying the schools, well, maybe they are kind of similar in their capabilities of what they want to do.
Yeah,
You've got receivers on one side and you got receivers on the other side, but you've got a quarterback in Silas Gomez that you want to see get the ball to these guys, and then you've got Rhett Anderson just
yeah. And it was a test, I believe, for Central Catholic to see where the receivers were. To be honest,
Mhm.
as far as are you creating that true separation? You know what I mean?
right.
Or are we just doing this with other squads? So that was a great gauging point, against Heights to see where we're really at. I think Flowers stood out, Brennan Flowers.
Mhm.
Of course, he has a big frame. You throw it in front of him, it's almost like he's boxing him out.
Right.
But overall, there was a lot of positives, taken away from it. Like I said, especially when you don't got a whole lot of starters that were returning on defense.
Right. Um, so other than physically being at the game, of course, we have streaming as well. So I was able to bounce through, and while you were at the game, I was able to stream and see that game. And I was looking at Judson, and I'm looking at Steele, and I'm looking at who else did I go through? Vets. I'm looking at all these different squads. Uh, so when I think of Judson,
Mm-hmm.
can we get a little bit of our let's see if we have anything going on social media right now. um Judson, because I get asked, hey, what do you think of this, who's talking about what.
Mm-hmm.
So Judson lost to A&M Consolidated,
Yeah.
and that was a game in which it's a game of inches.
Yeah, it is.
It's a game of inches. uh the amazing stat is, in the third quarter, Judson only got 4 offensive plays. And I harken back to uh, the question that J Flow from Somerset hit me up and was asking. I'm like, he was talking about Jay. So having your weapons and knowing how to get to them and use them. In the third quarter, Judson didn't even have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And there was a quarterback change. 17 came in uh,
For Judson?
for Judson, and my thought is, if you're able to get, if you have so many weapons, you have got to have a scheme in order, a creative scheme to get them. I mean, because the time of just running a jet sweep is over.
So what was the difference that you saw watching that game versus the DeSoto game? Because it seems like they're in a slump now after winning that big game against DeSoto and setting the tone early. We thought.
You know what? Overall, they played. What is the difference you're saying? What is the
I mean, was it where I mean, I know every defense is gonna have a different scheme,
Well,
but
Traylon was there causing hell
you're also gonna have your bread and butter
compared to the second game when he didn't play versus Lake Travis.
as far as offense. You know, where they running the ball more, passing the ball more versus the Soda, and then when they went against Consolidated, it was kind of like they backed off on a certain part, or
It really was a good. They had a good mix. They were trying to get it to Beasley, you know, and they were trying to get the ball to Evans. And I liked the fact sometimes when you have a quarterback who isn't as athletically gifted, then you're less likely to rely on that knack, because of course Judson always has an athletic quarterback, but if the passing ability isn't completely there yet, then you have to know how you can get your receivers to assist in that development even during the game.
yeah, gotcha.
So if it's shorter routes, quick hit routes, and different combinations,
hmm
then that's what you've got to try to do. And that's it's a creativity thing to me,
Yeah,
because you have everything there for you. You couldn't ask for any other uh multiplicity of athletes, and that's your responsibility, is to get them in the best situations that they can.
yeah, to be successful, correct.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the major difference. But really, it was just two things. It was a fumble on a kickoff return, and it was jumping off sides on 4th and 4, and the next plays are touchdowns.
Gotcha.
And that's 14 points that they shouldn't have had.
Oh yeah.
That's 14 points that they shouldn't have had. And I mean, the fight was there, and it's not like
You know, it's mistakes. You know, we talk about it all the time. You know, behind closed doors or when we're
mhm,
out. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of talent you got, but if you can't execute what being called,
mhm,
and not only that, be disciplined and not get any penalties, any flags, stuff like that, man. I mean,
right,
they can change ball games.
right,
That's like the Central Catholic ball game. I mean, they lost by 3 touchdowns, but you give the touchdown for that fumble return, right, and take
right,
away that penalty, right? That's 7 right there.
right.
Then you had actually 3 touchdowns. I mean, was it Rhett Anderson? He scored 4, but 3 of them were basically on goes, bro.
Yes, just straight
Straight
running.
goes. So you change the defense a little bit and you put a hand on him at least, so he doesn't just go untouched. That makes a difference because it's all timing. You know what I mean? I'll even take a
Exactly.
personal foul, bro, instead of giving up a touchdown.
Exactly. I
So
will pull you down
yeah,
if I am beat
for sure.
and live to see another play.
Exactly. Yeah, I might get chewed out, but I didn't give up 7 points. No, but there's athletes you got to make adjustments to, and if you're not making those adjustments to be successful, and they're not executing like you're asking them to execute,
Hmm.
that makes a huge difference, man.
Yeah. So the quarterback who came in is Castillo, Jaden Castillo, and their backup running back. Well, I'd say backup, but they're a two-handed monster. Stanley, number two. Stanley and Beasley are really complementary runners. We just got to find a way to get try to get everybody the ball. I know there's one ball, but there's ways to do it. I mean, like,
Down distances,
and it's
certain
and it's funny
possessions.
because I text you
Yeah,
plays,
yeah, yeah,
and I was like, man, because I'm not playmaking is not easy, and actually taking it from your mind and putting it out there can be totally different.
yep.
And so
You know what it boils down to? Every man sometimes can be accounted for, right? When you're
hmm
playing defense, 11 on 11. But what's important, the most important part, is the running back making that first guy miss, right? To help
yes,
himself
you got
out.
to make
You got
somebody
to make
miss.
somebody miss, and your lineman at least putting a hat on somebody,
Yeah,
for you to get to that next level. Because once you get to the second level, past the linebackers and all that, or at the linebacker, now you're in the open field and you can make some moves.
right.
But the most important thing is them linemen's putting a hat on somebody, man. That's most important. If you
Yeah,
ain't putting a
you
hat
got to
on
have
nobody,
time.
yeah, if you ain't putting a hat on nobody, man, He ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
He ain't
Shout
gonna do
out
anything.
Texas's offensive line. All right, so we're gonna go into the city top 25. The city top 25. I sent this out today at 11 o'clock this morning. Just wanted to switch it up a little bit. Normally I just release it on the show, but I wanted to put it out there. So we're gonna go over this now. All right. Yeah. Here we go. Sorry about that sound, y'all. Top 25. Here we go. Week 3, San Antonio High School top 25 from Along the Wire. Number 25, Holmes Huskies, 2-1, coming off of their loss to Taft. They were 25 last week as well. Given that effort and that performance, I see no need to drop them out of the top 25, because when you're given that type of effort versus that squad, then you're showing that you're one of the city's best. Brackenridge, 2-1 now. They are a new entry for this week, coming off of their victory. Oh man, this is gonna lead us into our pick'ems. Burbank coming in at number 23. They beat Kennedy last week. They are a new entry as well. They beat the then undefeated Kennedy. Number 22, Reagan is 1-2, and they are in here this week, given their performance against Clark. That's a squad when they get Carson Green back.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a different squad. That's going to be a different team. So I'd like to see that, and Coach Hamilton and that offensive line. I think that's going to keep them in a lot of games. Let's see. 21 Lanier, 3-0.
Yep.
SAISD, new entry. Southwest Legacy at number 20. They had a shootout.
Yeah, they did.
They had a shootout with Floresville. I think everybody saw.
Yep, that Hail Mary at the end.
The Hail Mary.
Yep.
Man,
that'll be one they'll talk about for years out there.
I thought I was going to see that on ESPN. Yeah. I swear I did.
That was a cool catch at the Central game. This kid caught it with one hand.
Yes.
One hand.
Yes.
Yep. Down the sideline, man. That was sick. Was sick.
19 Harlandale, 3-0. Harlandale.
And Coach Torres got some rolling over there, man. And that's another guy where it's pretty much almost like his seniors that he finally has, because he was at Edison before.
21-6, their victory has them up 2 spots. Somerset took care of McCullum, got them up 1 spot from 19-18. John Jay up 6 spots, now 3-0 with their victory over O'Connor. Shout out to John Jay. Number 16, Wagner, 2-1. They maintained their 16th position after their victory. Let me see. Well, we're gonna get into that. Over Laredo Alexander, that's right. I didn't want to say there's so many different Laredos. I was like, I don't want to say the wrong one.
Correct.
15, Central Catholic. They drop after their loss to Alamo Heights. They dropped 7 spots from 8 to 15. Definitely look forward to seeing them get back on the winning track. Number 14, Marshall up 10 spots. Up 10 spots after their victory over Stevens. Madison at 13, up 1 spot. They took care of business this past weekend.
Yep.
And that was they beat Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 12, Floresville. They're the winner of the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Of the Hail Mary. So They've been in two close games now.
Yeah, they have. But hey, you get mentally ready, and those are mental reps. So when you get into the district play, man,
Yeah, yeah. Because what they had the close one against Antonian too.
yeah,
Next up, number 11, New Braunfels, knocking on that top 10 door, up 2 spots. They beat New Braunfels Canyon. So, Battle of New Braunfels.
yep,
Yes, sir. Now we got the city top 10. Top 10. Number 10, Judson. Judson is 1 and 2 and in the top 10. You know, albeit they lost twice, they're the only school in San Antonio to play 3 top 15 teams in the state, like back to back to back.
yeah.
So, I mean, now you see
Those are creditable losses.
right,
Yeah.
right. And man, when you go from A&M Consolidated, Lake Travis, and DeSoto,
Them boys will probably beat up too. You gotta
yes,
be sore and beat up, man.
yeah.
If you're playing your tail off.
So number 10, Judson. Number 9, Vets Memorial, 2-1. They are plus 64 difference for the season, and they are up 1 spot from 10 to 9. Johnson comes in at number 8. They are up 3 spots, and that's a squad that I'm starting to think about during district.
Yeah.
And that's the question that that's some questions I got for you. So once we get through this, I got some questions for us both. Where I'm at. Number 7, Alamo Heights. They are up 2 spots. They are plus 27 so far on the year, holding it 3-0 after their victory over Central Catholic. Number 6, Taft is up 1 spot after their 1-point victory over Holmes. They are plus 25 so far this year. Remember, the plus minuses are the overall scores in which you are the differential over your opponent.
Yeah.
Now, top 5, Bernie Champion, top 5. Winners of 3 straight, up 1 spot, plus 69 for the season. Cibolo Steel with the DBs running around like crazy up there on a 3-win streak, plus 43 so far this season. As they beat Colleen Ellison.
Shout out Coach Gomez out there, the DB coach.
Number 3, Smithson Valley, 3-0, plus 75 for the season. That's a squad I need to get out there and see play Smithson Valley because they just keep impressing. For some reason, that's a school. For some reason, I feel like is going to lose a game, and then I'm gonna wonder why. But yet they continue to just roll.
But you can't. But
Coach Hill,
yeah, I was going to say that you
Hill,
cannot count them out. I mean, once you get a good coach and a good program going and built, and especially a coach has been there a long time and has his program probably implemented in the middle school level up there already, bro. You can't count them out. Smith and Valley is always going to have some disciplined players. You know, they're always going to have some pretty good size out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know them coaches are going to put them in a position once again to be successful. You know what I mean? There might be some kids who might sacrifice, a certain position or whatever, but overall, Coach Hill is going to get them right and have them compete week in and week out.
Number 2, Brandeis, Coach Bruce, plus 96, 3 wins as they took care of business against Mac. One thing, and they said it during the broadcast about that win, that 62-6 score might look like that, but when you're a good team, you beat the teams that are in a bad way, and you put that game away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like pretty much the whole fourth quarter they're running the ball. So it's not like trying to run up the score, but we scored enough to put it away. Now you just got to stop us from running. It's not like they
didn't stop them from running.
So, and shout out Aiden who had a hell of a game, in which this score would have been worse if he didn't get 2 touchdowns called back.
Wow.
So that too. And number 1, Brennan Bears, 3-0.
Yep.
And that is a squad that took care of business last night. 44 to 14 or 12 over Harlan. So shout out to everybody on the top 25. I will be putting this out again next week before the show. So once again, top 10: Brennan, Brandeis, Smithson Valley, Cibolo Steel, Bernie Champion, Taft, Alamo Heights, Johnson, Vets Memorial, and Judson is the top 10 right now. So let me get into a question that I got. I was just mentioning it here, talking about Johnson, and I was thinking about the style of play. Do you think there's going to be a undefeated district champion
in this year
in San Antonio?
Yeah, I mean we can bet and say yeah.
I'd say, I'll say if it is, it'll be Brennan.
That's what I was gonna pick.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say it'll be Brennan, but I'm seeing so much, and I think it's the fact that teams like Marshall, Holmes, Johnson, Madison
See, but a lot of them
can
guys
pose threats
but a lot of
to
these guys,
Reagan.
a lot of these guys are undefeated right now, but a lot of them too play each other
Right.
during the
Exactly.
season.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of preseason games going on right now. So yeah, I can see Brendan though getting stronger throughout the season for sure. Brandeis have yet to be tested yet.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's a little still questionable. No, even though they have a good leader in Coach Bruce,
Right.
they got some returners, but they also got some young guys out there that I want to see.
Okay, so I got Brandeis as number 2 in the city. So who's going to test them in Northeast? And I'm saying that because I think that Johnson game's going to be good.
It is.
That Johnson game's going to be good.
It'll be a good game.
And then you also got Reagan
Mm-hmm.
over there. And when Carson Green comes back, that's a squad who's going to be like, hey, this is our district. Like, this is our district. They're the reigning champs. So, and then I'm looking at Roosevelt, and I think that they have some growing pains right now. I'm not sure if they're strong enough to make the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at the beginning of district.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of questions. And speaking on Brennan, I have them.
But I wouldn't put Brandeis out. I can see Brandeis possibly pulling off undefeated. They're gonna have some close games. They don't have a battle, but I can see them really pulling it out, possibly going undefeated.
Does the unknown?
Because who's their threat in their district? Do you think
Johnson?
Yeah. Johnson. So,
and no disrespect to Reagan, it's just, but if you're not 100%, then
yeah,
you know,
those are the two we're going to be good games.
Yeah,
the Johnson and the Reagan game.
And I don't think Brennan has played a complete game yet.
Yeah,
and I give that. I know how they beat Harlan and everything, but you know, if a couple of mistakes don't happen versus Clemens, that game's different. And I think that they're one of those squads that when they do start clicking, and everything's going, because they have a lot of sophomores and juniors. So when they do get it rolling, and those juniors aren't like true juniors because they've been through some stuff, and when you're coming from being playing under Caleb and Donovan, you know they're going to coach you up, and you've got to keep that mantle of physicality and focus.
And Steele, how about Steele? They're on a roll.
Could they win district?
Possibility.
Could they win district?
I can see them doing it. I mean, defenses win championships, and that defense is playing nice. Same thing with Brennan's defense.
And once again, with Judson, Steele, and Smithson Valley, Coach Hill, did you call that last year versus Judson?
Yeah.
Because
remember, I called it because Jalen Nutt was a little more experienced than Michael Burrows at the time.
Right.
Because it's really important when you got a quarterback with experience, especially in big games, man.
Exactly. So I mean, there's some. Let us know what y'all think about district. Could there be an undefeated district champion? Well, someone said maybe Smithson Valley. And I think again that goes to Coach Hill. I mean, he's seen everybody, he knows everybody in the district.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to when's the last time he had a 100%, I guess, true quarterback?
Was it Levi?
And he's plugging along.
Levi Williams?
Yeah. And he's plugging along. And he has a kid coming up now, Rylan Walker.
Yeah.
Who I think is going to be that next guy for him. Yep. I think he's a sophomore, so next 2-3 years. Yep. So that's why I definitely got to get out there and get them.
They had a dead year whenever Levi left. It was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple years it was with Jalen. They were trying to Jalen someone else.
So, all right, Smith and Valley, and one last note. What did I have? Taft is for real. I like T.J. Andrews, Hurt, and Criswell.
Yeah,
you've got to pay attention, and they run like men. They play like grown men, and when you have a nasty offensive line and a nasty defensive line, and you're all giving effort all the time.
Yeah, things can happen, man. Things can happen. You control the game.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact, I have it noted down here, that Taft has had a blowout win. They've had a come from behind win, and they have tough game and victories. Like, exactly how you said with the Floresville win, it's all mental reps. You're in these situations. It's that coat of armor that they say that you put on as you go through the season that gets you ready for the playoffs. Your district gets you ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, because whenever you face a game or a big game later on down the line, especially district, because a lot of these are non-district.
Mm-hmm.
You face one in district, man, you're good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, we've been in this situation before. Yep. So it's almost like situational football all over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
Those games are great, man. I'd rather view those games than blowouts.
Exactly.
Love nail biters.
Exactly. I don't have it. All right. So we're gonna jump right in. What am I gonna say? My victory dance.
Let's go. We'll see what it is.
we'll see what it is. All right, I got my pen. I'll keep. Well,
do your wins and losses?
Okay. So we're gonna go over our wins and losses and our pick'ems right now. Coach Gomez overall is up +2 on me. He's up +2. But what did LL Cool J say? Don't call it a comeback.
There's a possibility, man. There was some shockers too out there this week.
All right, here we go. We're gonna start off with Clemens San Benito. You had San Benito, right?
Yeah. Who'd you have?
I had Clemens.
We had talked about it, but I just want to verify.
Yeah, I had Clemens. San Benito won that.
San Benito.
Yeah, good one. Reagan Clark, who'd you have?
I had Clark.
What?
I called Clark on that one, man.
I had Reagan.
They started off strong at the time.
I had Reagan. And that's where my thought went back to just the offensive and the defensive line, Britton and Coach Hamilton.
And then I knew that, wasn't it a close game?
Yeah.
I knew that
it was close early.
Yeah,
then they pulled away.
I knew Carson was out too, so I'm like,
yeah.
Running games a lot, and they have that kid out there who runs the ball as well. So I'm like, I thought the Clark could possibly pull it off.
All right. Marshall Stevens, who'd you have?
Marshall.
I had Marshall as well. Brackenridge Jefferson, who'd you have?
Brackenridge.
I had Brack as well. Brack won 35-7. Wagner Laredo Alexander, who'd you have?
Wagner.
I had Wagner as well. Wagner won 41-3. Del Rio Laredo Martin, who'd you have?
Del Rio.
Del Rio won 58-6. I had Del Rio as well. All right. Let me make sure.
Oh, I see your little emoji fingers now pointing. Check you out, dog.
You like that?
I put the school bus this time instead of bucks.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice. All right. I'm looking for Shiner St. Paul. I do not see.
There you are, Coach. You got your little school bus and your
Mira.
pencil.
Nice.
Shout!
There we
He
go.
put the pencil on there,
There
too.
you go, baby.
He put the pencil on there
Hey, I
too.
can't wait for October. I'm gonna start putting pumpkins, dog. You better not cheat.
Hey man, put
All
a little,
right, all right.
step it up, man. Put a little ghost on there.
I was just about to
Mm,
say
say
that.
some
I was just
ghosts.
about to
There
say
you
that. Yeah.
Pumpkins, ghosts,
All right.
Little
I
zombie.
can't find Shiner St.
witches.
Paul, so we'll go to Bernie Midland Christian.
What game was that one? You get Shiner.
Shiner St. Paul.
We'll write it down and look it up later.
Right. So we got Midland Christian and Bernie.
All right, let me see. I had. Who did you have?
I had Bernie.
Who won?
I know Midland Christian won. I know Midland Christian won.
I had Bernie. All right, we'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
Or are you looking them up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up, but I don't see it on here. But I know Bernie lost. Judson College Station. I had Judson. Judson lost.
All right, I wrote down the Bernie game and the Shiner game. We'll look it up online here in a little bit to verify it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. Smithson Valley, El Paso Eastwood. Who'd you have? I had Smithson Valley.
I'm sure I had Smith and Valley. Hold on real quick.
Yeah, A&M beat Judson 28-14.
We'll share my shits up there. Let me see. Smith and Valley. What do we got up there? Medina Valley. It's probably on the next one. Huh.
What? There it is.
I had
Yeah,
Smith and Valley.
Smithson Valley.
So we won.
Dehanus versus Brackett. Who'd you have? I had Dehanus.
Man, these are all out of order, bro.
Yeah.
Let me see. Dehanus and Bracket. I had Dehanus.
All right.
Who won?
Dehanus won 24-6.
All right.
Skidmore.
Lido.
Yeah.
I had Lido.
I had Skidmore.
Who won?
Skidmore won 33-12. Navarro versus Needville.
Navarro.
I had Navarro as well. Navarro won 48-28. Holy Cross and Austin High Park got canceled.
Gotcha.
Central Catholic versus Alamo Heights. I had Central Catholic. Alamo Heights won 35-20. You had Alamo Heights.
No, man. That's Central Catholic.
Floresville versus Southwest Legacy. Who did you have?
Floresville.
I have Floresville too. 44-41. Hail Mary.
Yep.
Come with me. Let's see. Next page. McCullum Somerset. Who'd you have?
I had Somerset.
I had Somerset as well. Somerset won 28-17. Let's see. Antonian Harlandale. I had Antonian. Harlandale won 21-6.
I had Harlandale.
I see it. Nice. Vets Memorial versus Medina Valley. Who'd you have?
Vets Memorial.
I had Vets Memorial as well. Vets Memorial won 48-12. Bernie Champion versus Laredo United South. Who do you got?
Bernie Champion.
I had Bernie Champion as well. They won 24-12. SA Christian versus Austin Dominic. I can't say that.
Dominic Savio.
There you go.
I had Austin St. Dominic Savio.
I don't see it on here. Oh, here it is. Sacks won, baby.
You went for sacks.
Yes. 55-16.
They just hadn't won anything, so I was like,
Here you go. Here you go. New Braunfels Canyon versus New Braunfels. Who'd you have?
New Braunfels, regular New Braunfels.
New Braunfels won 35-21. Divine versus YMLA. Who'd you have?
Divine.
Divine won 63-14. I had Divine as well. Kennedy versus Burbank. I had Kennedy, and Burbank won.
I had Kennedy.
Burbank won.
After having Coach Harrison on the show, I was like,
Right.
give him some love.
Right.
Lost.
It's all right. That's all right. Let's see. 50-34. Burbank took that dub. Memorial versus Edison. Who'd you have?
Come on now, you ain't even gotta ask.
I gotta ask because I had Memorial.
Let me see. Hold on, real quick.
I'll take the L.
Edison. Let me make sure I was right though. I think I might have picked Memorial too. Hold up, because Edison was out at quarterback.
Edison won.
Let's see, man.
Yes, Jay's running back is legit. Hurt is a weapon and is a man child. He sure is.
Yeah, I had Memorial, man.
You have Memorial too?
Yeah, bro.
All right, Edison. Congrats for beating both of us as well. Let's see. Lanier versus Sam Houston. I had Lanier.
I had Lanier.
Sorry, Mom. Lanier won 50-22. Taft versus Holmes. Who'd you have?
Taft.
I had Taft as well. Taft escaped 14-3. 14-13. Roosevelt versus Madison. Who'd you have?
Madison.
I had Madison as well. Madison won 42-13 over Roosevelt. The Velt. Brandeis versus MacArthur. Who'd you have?
Brandeis.
I had Brandeis as well. They took care of business 62-6. Over the Lee Volunteers. Are they still the Lee Volunteers? Did they change that?
No, they changed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
My sister went to Lee. Poteet versus Lake Belton.
Hold on, you didn't say the Lee Johnson. You talked about it, but you talked Brandeis first.
Sorry. Lee Johnson, who'd you have?
Johnson.
I had Johnson as well. Max Scherzer just threw his 3,000th strikeout. Congratulations. Let's see. Lake Belton versus Poteet. Who'd you have?
I had Poteet.
I had Poteet. Lake Belton won 28-20. Let's see. Kennedy versus Woodsboro. Who'd you have?
Kennedy.
I had Kennedy as well. They won 34-0. Let's see. Harper versus Ingram Moore. Who'd you have?
Ingram Moore.
I had Harper. Harper won 28-7. Let's see. Center Point versus Sabinal. Who'd you have?
Center Point versus.
I had Center Point.
Where is that at? I had Sabinal. Who won?
Center Point won 14-8.
Right.
I had Center Point. Falls City versus Stockdale. Who'd you have?
Stockdale.
I had Falls City. Falls City won 34-12.
God bless.
Let's see. Mathis versus Karn City. Who'd you have?
Karn City.
I had Karn City as well. Karn City won 24-20. No score for Goliad and George West. Marion versus Comfort. Who'd you have? I had Comfort.
I had Comfort.
Comfort lost 35-6.
Geneva, Johnson City, TMI. Nixon, Smiley.
Ooh, hold on. I thought we couldn't find the shirts St. Paul one.
You couldn't find it. Would you come
because
with?
I have them versus TMI, but then I see Lake Country
It
Christian.
was Shiner St. Paul.
Okay. But look, just
Yeah, that shirt St. Paul, but the one that we were looking for earlier was the Shiner St. Paul.
but then this one's saying Lake Country Christian. That's why I just wanted to.
Gotcha.
TMI won.
All right, cool.
So did you have them too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So dubs for TMI. Congrats on that win. Shiner versus Davenport. Who'd you have?
I had Shiner.
I had Shiner as well. Shiner came back and won that 28-14. All right. Thanks, Joe. Bernie Geneva versus Johnson City. Who'd you have?
Johnson City.
I had Johnson City as well. I had Johnson City as well. There's the Bernie versus Midland Christian score right here too.
What is it?
Bernie lost 47-22.
What'd you have?
I had Bernie. I'm not seeing the score for
Bernie Geneva.
for the Bernie Geneva Johnson City. Rock Springs versus West Campus. Who'd you have?
Rock Springs.
I had Rock Springs as well. Rock Springs won. They shut out West Campus. Let's see. Randolph versus Natalia. Who'd you have? I had Randolph.
I think I might have had Natalia. Hold on. Let me see. I had Natalia. Who won?
Natalia won 24-6. All right. Bandera versus Cole. Who'd you have? I had Bandera.
I had Cole.
All right. Bandera won 21-0. All right. We got Beeville Jones versus Pearsall. Who'd you have?
Beeville Jones.
That game was canceled.
Awesome.
All right. Pleasanton versus Jordanton. Who'd you have? I had Pleasanton.
I had Jordanton.
Pleasanton won 42-26.
God bless you on a roll, aren't you?
Let's see. Georgetown Eastview versus Canyon Lake. Who'd you have?
Let me see. Georgetown. I had Canyon Lake.
Canyon Lake won 32-19. I had Canyon Lake as well. All right. Southside versus Austin St. Michael's.
I had Southside.
I had Southside. They took the L 12-17. All right. So we are going to finish up a little bit after the show. Just want to take these last 2 minutes to get y'all prepped for what we're going to do because we have more scores than the time will allow. I don't know why. It seems like there's like more. I know I couldn't find some of the stuff, but I hate to cut it off like that. But yeah, so this week I will be at Floresville versus Southside, and I will be at the UTSA game. And I believe I will be at Thursday Sam versus Kennedy. So that's where Along the Wire will be. Central Catholic.
Laredo United South.
Laredo United South. So it's going to be going down this week. Make sure y'all subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at BDamone. Follow Coach Gomez at
STX7V7.
And follow us on Facebook at Along the Wirecast and on IG at Along the Wire. And it's going down. There's some big matchups. Shout out UTSA for their victory over Lamar, their shutout victory, 54-0. And Sincere McCormick is now the all-time leading rusher for yards and touchdowns in UTSA, and they had their first punt return for a touchdown last week. They take on Middle Tennessee State next Saturday. That was a good game last year. So, in Middle Tennessee State,
and they're at home this year.
Right.
We're playing at home, so pack the dome.
Yeah. It was about 17,000 people first game. So, that's a decent turnout. So let's see if we can get more there. That'll be awesome. Make sure everybody's being safe, taking care of yourself helps take care of one another. And this has been Along the Wire, episode 128. Hook 'em, birds up, 210. We out.